Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a slayful day. My name is Flick. You're listening to Hardhatsnheels, recorded at FlexiDesk's Sunshine Coast. Hello. How is everybody? I am absolutely fabulous to be in your guys' ears. I'm so excited. So let's just jump straight into it because I'm so excited for this week's episode. We're just going to be chatting about career growth and leadership. The ins and outs, apprentices to leadership, what's the go? And I'm going to provide you with my knowledge on what I have on it because for someone though I'm so young, I feel like I have quite a different perspective than what you would hear quite commonly. But yeah, so I just want to let you guys know what my thoughts are, chat about a few things that I think help turn people into better leaders, and yeah, just have a chat about it. But first, it is my Friday knockoff. So we're actually filming this episode in advance. Fun fact, so this isn't going to be it's going to be 2 weeks out. Just because my specialised guest that I have that helps me every week is away. So we need to record in advance. So I'm just going to talk about my Friday knockoff for this particular subject would be people taking time off for work when they're not sick. It grinds my gears. Absolutely freaking drives me up the wall. Like, I literally, personally, like, I can be, unless I'm like contagious, if I've just got a headache or something like that, I will soldier on. And yeah, like, it just drives me nuts when somebody is like, yeah, no, I just didn't really feel like it. Like, I can understand mental health. Like, if mental health is the reason behind it, go for gold. Take as many days off as you need. I am your number one freaking supporter. But if you're just taking time off because you don't like what you're doing or you're not wanting to be a team player or whatever reason, I honestly think it is the biggest joke. Like, fucking put your big boy pants on or big girl pants on and, like, pull yourself together. But let's move it on to a slightly more positive note. That was just my little rant for the week, and in this particular subject, I think it really like plays a very big point into what we're going to be going into. But first, let's just have a quick jump into that career growth isn't just about climbing the ladder. It's about mindset, it's about leadership, it's not just about, getting put into a leading hand position and, oh my God, perfect, I'm the best leader there ever was. Oh, I'm a supervisor now. Well, you have to listen to me. That's how it is. No, there's so many good attributes that come with being a leader, and it takes a long time to get there. And now I'm not sitting here telling you that, I'm the most perfect leader ever. No, not what I'm telling you. I am still learning and growing every single day. But what I can tell you is from the first moment I ever got a little taste of a leadership position to now, I have grown so very much. So we're just going to jump into when I had that mindset change. So I remember the first time I've ever really gotten a taste of a leadership position. We were at work one day and we had a lot of labourers. There was 15 of us or something like that. And it was just a really, really busy site that we had going on at the moment. At that particular time, we had 15 trucks, whole bunch of labourers, whole bunch of machines, and it was just really hectic. And obviously I feel too much pressure for our leading hand. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't handle it. I'm not really sure what they were trying to do here, but they picked 2 people out of our group. So they'd split us into 2 groups, and there was 2 people that were going to be calling the shots, they said. And so for that one person in the group, they'd be calling up trucks, they'd be telling machine operators what to do, they'd be telling the labourers what to do, they'd just be organising their little section. Now, let me paint the picture for you a little bit. I was the second youngest. So I had one boy below me, one boy that was a few years younger than me, and then everyone else, I reckon the closest in age to me was 8 years. So I was the baby, and not to mention a girl. So I was when he was blabbering about this, I honestly wasn't even really listening. I was oh, okay, someone else is going to tell me what to do. Cool. And he said somebody else's name for one group, and then he was and Flick for the other one. I was huh? What do you mean, me? I was so confused because I was I don't know about this, but Anyways, I really was like, yeah, cool, we're going to try and do this really, really well. So I really, really was trying to do my best efforts and yeah, like try and put my best foot forward. However, when you're doing in a position like that, it's really, really hard not to let it go to your head. And like I'm saying this full honesty, like I feel like the power went to my head a little bit because I just turned bossy and I just didn't really know how to, present myself and how to get like different type of personalities to listen to what I was trying to say. I just was kind of being like, you do this, you do this, you do this, and that's it. And yeah, so it was like really hard to understand that being bossy isn't automatically a leader. Like that's not what we're trying to achieve. So, and it was about maybe like 2 weeks after that, I realized that that wasn't working and then I needed to change something. And this is where it all began. So this is why we're jumping into this episode, because it took me like a longer than I would like to understand like the basics. And I'm not saying that like I'm perfect at the basics now, but I am saying I feel like I have a better idea of what they are. So we're going to jump into career growth and how to take control of your own development. Because first and foremost, if you want to be a supervisor, so I have known from pretty much the minute I was in civil that I wanted to be a supervisor. And it's hard to get people to take you seriously, especially so young. And if you want to achieve those goals so young, you've got to be starting to try and get people to take you seriously so young. But not only just being young, a girl. Imagine like my boss's face when I was like, no, I want to be a supervisor. And he was like, I think he kind of just like tilted his head at me a little because I think they were just shocked. But I knew that's what I wanted to do. So it's when you've got to kind of take control of your own development. So set clear goals is my first piece of advice. So where do you want to be in 5 years? Set clear goals on where you want to be in 5 years, but not only that, but where you want to be in a year, where you want to be in 2 years, and so on. Because those smaller goals will help you hit those 5-year goals. So if you have a goal of where you want to be in 5 years, great, cool, perfect. How are you going to get there? That's what taking your career development is into your own hands. Like if you say, okay, so say you're a trainee, first year trainee, right? And you're like, cool, perfect. In 5 years, I want to be stepping into more of a leadership position, not like supervisor, but maybe a leading hand, a junior leading hand. How are you going to get there? What's your 5-year plan? So create a plan in your head, but we're going to break down some things that I think will help like push your vision along if this is what you're trying to achieve. If you're not trying to be a supervisor, this probably isn't going to be like super relevant to you, but there are so many like things in here that will help any person day-to-day life, I think. So we're going to chat on like getting comfortable with feedback, which I think is personally one of the hardest things to do. Constructive criticism is so hard to take. I remember when my bosses, leading hands, anyone used to give me constructive criticism, I was like, why do you hate me? I'm not even joking. Because it made me feel so like, whoa, I'm not doing a good job. But that's not what they're saying. Like constructive criticism is a good thing. It means giving you an opportunity to learn. It's giving you an opportunity to understand what's going on and everything like that. Like it's such like I really cannot like preface to you how important constructive criticism is. Because if you were never getting criticism, I can guarantee you it is not because you are perfect. It is because someone is afraid to give it to you. So you need to get good at handling it. I remember sometimes I would get given constructive criticism when I first started and I would cry, like point blank cry. And now if someone gives me constructive criticism, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll really take that on board. And I really do try and take it on board. Like so much. You've kind of got to be like a sponge in the industry. So like if you're a sponge, right, you put you in an environment and you're just going to absorb. Now you can absorb everything, but you don't have to take everything in if that makes sense. So you can absorb everything, but you don't have to put everything into practice. But it's good to know different ways of doing things. Like, say you know how to lay a pipe, for example, so pipe layers. Say you know how to lay a pipe. Yep, my boss has taught me how to do this. I know how to lay a pipe. Perfect. You do know how to lay a pipe. You have another supervisor comes along and tries to tell you a different way of doing it. You don't have to be like, oh, no, I know how to lay a pipe. Take it on board. I'm not saying that that's how you have to go and lay a pipe for your next fucking 50 years, but I am saying that it's good to know other ways because you can learn so much from those situations. So be a sponge, absorb everything. You don't have to put everything into play, but absorb everything. It's really, really important, and it goes hand in hand with constructive criticism. If you're getting constructive criticism, be a sponge, absorb it, and really try and learn from the mistakes that you have made, because everyone makes mistakes. It's just about admitting them. Investing in yourself. This is what do I mean by this? What do I mean by investing in yourself? I'm meaning if you want to operate a machine, right? If you want to operate a excavator, for example, right? But the company you work for, they don't put you through tickets, but this is something you really, really want to do. There is so many places that you can go on the weekends. You can go at nighttime and just pay for the course. There's funding out there. You can get the courses. It's about investing in what you want to do. So if I can guarantee you that if I had wanted to get a machine ticket and my company I worked for was like, oh no, we're not really in a position to get you this, then I'll just go out and get it myself, because it's about taking care of your own learning. It's about taking care of your own goals and sets and standards and investing in yourself. Not only that investing in yourself doesn't just have to be going out and doing a completely new course. So I'm a trainee, right? Well, finished now, pretty much. But I was a trainee and I had a training course that was on my iPad. Now, when I first started my traineeship, I had 2 other boys that I was with. We all started roughly around the same time. And they were forever getting chased up on stuff they needed to bring in and assignments and stuff like that for our training modules. However, when it came to me, I always was perfect. It was ready, organized, yep, cool. And I was always getting signed off very, very quickly on the things I needed to be signed off on. But that's what I'm saying. If you're investing in yourself, you're taking care of your own learning, you're taking care of your own training and making sure that you're actually putting these things into play. And you're not just trying to find the answer to the question, you're actually reading through the module book that you're given. So many options for investing in your own learning. It's the same thing as reading a book. I really love self-help books. I literally just bought one today called The Let Them by Mel Robinson. And it's all just about investing in yourself. And I really do think that if you want to achieve your goals, you've got to be invested in yourself, because you can't just expect you to have these goals and then everybody else to just make it happen around you. You've really got to step up and be like, this is my goal. This is where I want to be in 5 years. How am I going to make it happen? Anyway, building a strong network. This kind of goes back to constructive criticism, but a strong network, in my opinion, is supervisors, leading hands, other tradesmen, other labourers that believe in you. People that really do see your potential and are wanting to invest in you. I am not actually too sure what his particular name is, but he basically takes care of all of the trainees at work, and he has always seen my potential and always made me really believe I can do anything I want. And when you have that strong network around you, it becomes easier to achieve your goals. It becomes almost oh, well, if they think I can do it, why can't I do it? So that's my biggest point on that, is building a strong network. And not only building a strong network that believes in you all the time, building a strong network that's going to pull you up on stuff. Be like, no, that's not how we do it, and you know that. You're better than that. Having people who will pull you up on things and know that you're better than that is so, so important to achieving your career goals. And I really do mean it. And then take any opportunity to learn. So if you're in a new environment, so say you're in a new crew or something like that, and they are doing something that you haven't done before, don't step back and be like, oh, I don't really know how to do this. Like, I'm going to kind of just watch everyone do this. No, step in and be like, oh, hey, like, I don't know how to do this, but I want to learn. Step in and be the first there with the tools. Like, you don't know everything, and I'm not saying you need to know everything, but having that willingness to learn will take you so far. If someone's doing something, you're like, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. Can I have a go? And letting someone teach you, like, it goes back to being a sponge, is that you want to learn in every situation that you can. It really gives you that opportunity to learn so much. And when I'm telling you that learning is the key to life. You will never stop learning. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what you do for work, nothing. You will never, ever, ever know everything about the industry that you're in. It's impossible. So be open to the fact that you are always going to learn. And it just goes like hand on hand, like constructive criticism, being a sponge, always wanting to learn. Like, it all like flows into each other and will all help you achieve the long-term goal. And that's what I'm trying to say. All these little things, day by day, it's like the 1%ers. So 1% here, 1% here, 1% here, 1% here. It's all going to eventually add up to 100%. And I promise you of that. Let's talk about leadership in general. So not trying to achieve any goals near now. We're just going to talk about leadership and what it takes. So handling different people, different situations. So obviously I know the way that my body and my brain will handle the way someone talking to me. So I know how I need people to approach me to get the best response out of me. I don't know how to approach Joe Blow next to me to get the best response out of him, to achieve what I was trying to tell him to tell him that we need to go move those fences. And some people, you can't just be like, oi, go move those fences. You've got to be like, hey, like, you've got to really ease them into it. Everybody is so different. Some people are a little bit more tender. Some people are more headstrong. You've really got to know how to talk to various different types of people. And you're not going to get it right every time, regardless of how long you've been doing it. But sometimes you've just got to take into consideration all the different people that you have out there. And not just people's personalities, but their age, their culture, like their generation, all these things add into who someone is and the way you need to talk to them to get them to work for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're a supervisor, right, they can make you a supervisor all you want. But if you don't have a team that you lead, then you've got nothing. And that leads me into my next example, is to lead by example, don't be bossy. So instead of saying, all right, so say you're doing like a track, I don't know, digging something up, just for example, and you can see that you need to dig out some more dirt that the digger couldn't reach by hand. Don't be like, wait, go do that. Don't do that. I'm just saying pause, pick up a shovel, go do it with them. Because a few things off that topic. One, they're going to see that you're willing to work with them and you're going to get their respect. People don't want a boss that's just like, you do this, you do this, you do this, and I'm going to sit here and watch. People want a boss that's going to get in and help do the hard yards with you. Because if you get in and help other people, your bosses are going to be like, the people who you are the boss of, hypothetically, are going to be like, oh, well, if they want to work with me, why won't I? And then two, if you're not in a leadership position yet, right, but you can see something needs to be done, don't be bossy. Don't be telling people, oh, you do that and rah, rah, rah. Just get a shovel and start doing it, because I can guarantee you that if somebody sees that you're doing something, they're not going to want someone to drive past and see you just doing something. They're going to get in and help. So it's leading by example. Like, if you always have to wear, for my company, we have to wear hats outside. I always, always, always wear my hat, regardless of if it's sunny, cloudy, always wear my hat, because it means I'm leading by example. In my company, you have to have your sleeves rolled down, and I do get quite terrible for it. But if you have your sleeves rolled up and you're in a leadership position, of course, everyone else is going to think it's okay. So it's about leading by example, not being bossy, leading by example. Drum that sentence into your head, because the minute I drummed it into my head, I feel like I became a lot better at managing people and figuring out how to get them to like work for me in different situations. So off that, I just want to talk about that any decision is better than no decision. So in my last, if you've listened to my last podcast episodes, we touched on the fact that I was in a supervisionary acting position on a job site for like 3 months, a few months ago. And I had just a supervisor that came and checked on me a couple hours a day. But other than that, it was me. And he was doing half days, half nights. So in the morning, I couldn't reach him. I couldn't just call him and be like, what's the go? But so we had a rain days a few times and it was like pouring rain. But it was set to stop. And I have to make the decisions on, are we going to get everyone in? Is everyone going to try and work, or are we just going to cancel it for today? Because are we just going to make too much mess? And those are the decisions that you've got to make. And let me tell you, any decision is better than no decision. So if you are trying to figure out what to do, just make a decision. And it could be the bad one, or it could be the worst one in the world, or it could be the best one in the world. It doesn't matter, but at least you've made a decision. And once you've made that decision, stick with it. So you made my decision, yep, it's raining, but it's going to stop in a few hours and it's not going to be that bad. So we're going to keep on working. But everyone's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Rah, 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 rah. Can you tell this is something that I've gotten a lot? You've got to be able to stand your ground. No, this is the decision I made and this is what we're going to do. And if it turns out that this decision isn't the right one, you've made the wrong decision, that is fine, because that means you are taking another lesson. And it means that you're going to be able to really, really learn from your mistakes. But not only that, learn how to take accountability. If you made the wrong decision, don't put that onto someone else. Be like, yeah, no, I made that decision for this, and this reason. And your supervisor will be able to be like, yeah, well, I know this, and this, so this is why I would have made this decision. It is also really beneficial though in this like sort of situation if you have a supervisor who really backs what you say. So like me personally, my supervisor always was like, I just want you to make a decision. And I think that is literally everyone. As long as you make a decision and you have valid reasons on why you made that decision, no one can be mad at you. They just have to like understand that you're trying. And yeah, so that was like my points on leadership, is that you really, really have to like be able to make a decision, hold yourself accountable. But not only that, but be able to lead by example. All these things add up to achieving if you want to be a supervisor. And not even if you just want to be a supervisor, but the fact of that if you were going to be in the workplace in general, you should always be leading by example. You should always be trying to figure out the best way to approach a conversation with somebody. You should always be able to make a decision. You don't want to have to call your leading hand every 4 seconds to be like, hey, what do I do? How do I make a decision? You want to be able to make a decision and then explain that to them after. Be like, hey, this is actually why I did this, but I know it may be wrong now, but, it's about being able to have open-end conversations. And it goes back to being able to take criticism. If you've made the wrong decision, accept that you've made the wrong decision and be like, oh yeah, no, like I understand, try and get a new perspective. And then also taking accountability. Yep, cool, next time I'm going to know, so I'm going to know how to make the right decision. And yeah, it just makes your life 10 times easier, I reckon. So we're going to do quick fire because I did this last week and it was my favorite thing like ever. So set clear goals. Where do you want to be in 5 years? How are you going to get there? Living comfortably with feedback, constructive criticism, taking that on board is definitely something that you want to do. Investing in yourself, training, taking care of your courses that you want to do, reading books, investing in yourself and yourself as a career person. Building a strong network, having people around you who support you enough to like really, really want you to be better, and be a sponge. Take any opportunity to learn. Everything is valuable. You will 100%, if you're like, no, I'm never going to use this again, you trust me, any information is good information. handling people differently. Every situation and people need to be handled differently. Some things need to be handled more delicately. Some people need to be handled like a little bit more fragilely, but it's all relevant, taking care when talking to people. And understanding every situation needs to be approached differently. They go hand in hand, but they really just are trying to have a lot of like common sense almost about trying to handle different situations. Lead by example, don't be bossy. And then you go into any decision is better than no decision. Learn from your mistakes and last but not least, hold yourself accountable. These things are all such little things that you can do every single day to achieve the 5-year goal. 1% every single day, 1% now, 1% tomorrow, 1% the next day, over and over and over and over again. It'll eventually add up to 100%. And once you're at 100%, you still have more to go. So like when I say they'll add up to 100%, yeah, they'll get you to your goal. But when you're at your goal, I don't want you to be like, cool, I reached my goal, now I don't have to do any of these things anymore. No, once you reach that goal, it is 10 times more important that you do all these things, because now you have the eyes on you making sure that you actually are doing this right. And if you got to a position acting a certain way, you don't want to go the minute and switch up the minute that you don't. If you know what I mean? The minute that you have that power, you don't want to switch up and become someone that doesn't act the same way. Sorry, that took a lot to get out. You don't want to get the position of power and then abuse it and not be the same person that you once were. Looking to the future to support a lifestyle that's going to help you achieve your goals. So for me personally, I want to be a supervisor. So if I want to be a supervisor, I'm 20, I'm not going to be having kids for like the next 5 years. But that's what I mean, is that if you really, really, really want these goals, there's going to be things that you're going to have to adjust and going to be things that you're going to have to sacrifice all around to get to these goals, because they don't just click, instantly happen. You've really, really got to, want them and work for them every day. But I really just want to encourage you to follow your own path. Follow what you want to do. Follow your goal. Make sure you're achieving it and set your own career path, because I felt 10 times better when I had my career goals and I knew what I wanted to do. And now it gives you something to work to, something to get up and go to work every day. And it's really just so, so, so valuable. But that is all for this week. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any more questions, please, please, please don't be afraid to reach out. I love hearing from you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed it so very much. And I will chat to you guys next week. Bye.